And it was about, that's what I said. You always contradict me. I was right. I knew what it was about, the history of Astoria. And these are the rejects. Kind of like us, Mike. The Goonies. Yeah, I'm not a reject.
A few episodes back, we talked about George Lucas giving Steven Spielberg a golden opportunity to create a franchise from an idea he had. George Lucas dreamed up a story for Raiders of the Lost Ark and pitched the first Indiana Jones movie to Spielberg on vacation in Hawaii.
And George, so I got that beat. I said, what do you mean? He said, I have a better idea. It's called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
A few years later, Spielberg was on the set of The Color Purple and had an idea for a movie that he didn't have time to make. By 1985, Spielberg was an old hand at formulating high-concept ideas based around a question. In this case, what do kids do on a rainy day? Spielberg and Chris Columbus turned that question into a script about kids on a treasure hunt called The Goonies. For a director, Spielberg chose his longtime friend and collaborator, Richard Donner, who had an impressive run of movies in the 1970s and 1980s, including The Omen, Lethal Weapon, Superman, and later Scrooge.
Hey, Jim! Whoa! Excuse me. That's a bad outfit!
Spielberg was also very involved in the casting process, famously sitting in when Sean Astin, who would end up starring as Mikey, did an audition where he slipped up and said shit, and Spielberg walked out.
Look, a couple of years ago, Mom and Dad got on the game. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
Look, a couple of years ago.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry about it. I'm sorry. Just, right.
They also cast Corey Feldman, who had just appeared in Gremlins, another movie Chris Columbus helped conceive, as the annoying rascal Mouth. For Gremlins, Chris Columbus did the Spielberg part, thinking up the story and acting as the executive producer, and Steven Spielberg made a cameo.
The convention's great. Yeah. I said it's great.
Gremlins and The Goonies were both produced through Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment. Another young star who was cast in The Goonies was Josh Brolin. Brolin played Mikey's older brother, Brand.
The movie didn't bother me, but it bothered me only because you didn't have anything to balance it out. I remember Martha Plimpton once told me, she did this like The Three Sisters, amazing play, classic play. She comes out on stage, Long Wharf Theater, famous theater, classic theater. She comes out on stage, and just before she says her first line, somebody from the back row goes, "Goonie!"
And of course, the man of the hour, after his recent Oscar nomination and Golden Globe for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ke Huy Quan co-starred as Data. Ke Huy Quan's big break had come in 1984 with Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as Short Round. The Goonies is definitely a Spielbergian film, and a film of the 1980s, centering 5 young boys who are about to lose their home in the Goondocks neighborhood, which is being leveled to turn it into a country club. On the last rainy day where they're all together, the 5 kids, Mikey, Data, Chunk, Brand, and Mouth, find a map in the attic of Mikey and Brand's home.
Ye intruders beware, crushing death and grief, soaked with blood of the trespassing thief.
This is the famed treasure map of One-Eyed Willie, a local pirate whose treasure has long been sought but never found. What makes this movie particularly populist, especially in the pro-corporate 80s, is that the main villains that the boys are up against is the local millionaire country club owner working with the mortgage lenders to foreclose on properties. The 1980s is often portrayed as a decade of obscene wealth and profit. But that wealth must be procured, obviously, on the backs of someone, and our main characters in the Goondocks are the unfortunate victims. During the treasure hunt, the boys stumble onto the hideout of the Fratelli family, a notorious family of gangsters on the run. So the obstacles encountered by our working-class treasure hunters are gangsters, mortgage lenders, and One-Eyed Willie's many booby traps and mazes. It's hinted throughout the movie that this is one of many adventures that have happened in the Goondocks. This gives the movie a certain timelessness and almost mystical quality. The booby traps, especially the falling rocks, are very reminiscent of Indiana Jones. Also helping out with that mystical quality, and for the 3rd movie in a row, is prosthetics and animatronics, which Industrial Light and Magic helped design with Berman Studios. Probably the most famous character of the Goonies is the Fratelli's developmentally disabled brother, Sloth. Industrial Light and Magic designed a 5-foot replica of Sloth for the confrontation. The Goonies cost $19 million to make and grossed $125 million at the box office. It's now seen as a timeless cult classic.
George Washington, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, that's President Kennedy, you idiot! Was there a difference? I mean, he played Kennedy once.